Welcome to the Workshop Wednesday series. We are very excited to present you with these series. This is actually the first of this series over the next few months. And today's session will be in regards to recent graduates out of the Pathways program. A couple of things we would like to mention first is that this session is being recorded and will be available and posted onto our YouTube channel. The slides will also be sent to all of the registered attendees, and that you can also type any questions that you have in the question and answer box. I am Natalia Mendel. I am the Pathways Program Coordinator, and today we also have joining us student trainee Shaheen Reed. So again, we would like to give you a warm welcome. There's lots of information that we'd like to cover with you today in regards to the recent graduate program, and also inclusive of a panel discussion at the end with some of our very own recent graduates. So today we're going to be going over what is CMS. We're going to be going over, again, the recent graduate overview and the panel discussion. We will also be able to take any specific questions that you have for our panelists later at the end of the presentation. Now I'm going to kick it off to Shaheen to describe a little bit about what CMS is.
Hi, everyone. So thank you so much for joining today. So we're going to talk a little bit about what CMS is. CMS, or the Centers for Medicare Medicaid Services, is part of a larger organization. Our parent organization is the Department of Health and Human Services, also known as HHS, which you've probably heard a lot about in the recent months. CMS is an amazing agency. Our agency has the second largest budget in the federal government and is the largest purchaser of healthcare in the world. And our agency oversees programs such as Medicare, Medicaid, and the Children's Health Insurance Program, also known as CHIP. And our work touches the lives of millions of Americans across the United States, including senior citizens, families, people with limited income, and people with disabilities. The mission of CMS is to ensure up-to-date healthcare coverage and promote quality care for beneficiaries. So CMS is located right outside of Baltimore, Maryland. Our headquarters are located in Woodlawn, but we also have 10 regional offices located around the United States in Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, Kansas City, Denver, San Francisco, and Seattle, as well as satellite offices in Washington, D.C., Bethesda, Maryland, and San Juan, Puerto Rico. And this is a quote right here from former President Barack Obama. As part of the president's hiring reform, the Pathways programs are designed to make the federal government more attractive to recruit top talent, to foster a positive experience for participants that inspires interest in federal service, and really prepare students and recent graduates for successful federal careers. Now I'm going to kick it back off to my colleague Natalia, who's going to go into more detail about the recent graduates part of our Pathways program.
Thanks so much, Shaheen. That was a great overview. So now we're going to get a little bit deeper into what is the recent graduate program here at CMS and how does it fall under the Pathways umbrella. So if you don't know, the Pathways umbrella consists of 3 different programs. It's the intern program, the Presidential Management Fellows program, and then last but not least, this recent graduate program. But first, I'd like to briefly talk about the types of positions that we hire for here at CMS. So a lot of folks think maybe, this is all health insurance related. Well, there's so many other things that have opportunities here at CMS. So we do hire for health insurance positions, but we also hire for social science research analysts. We hire for policy and regulatory affairs type of specialists, anyone that deals with administrative sort of functions such as HR, IT, contracting. We also hire for management analysts and then interdisciplinary data scientists as well. So we have more positions than just health insurance. A couple of things that I want to touch on this slide particularly is the fact that we do have recent graduate announcements that are opening. So we have an accountant that is open from April 7th to April 20th. And then we also have a health insurance specialist that will be open from April 21st to April 27th. So you can apply to these both positions on usajobs.gov. So something to really look out for here. So in terms of the recent graduates program, lots of information to cover here. I know it's a little bit of a busy slide, but it's really kind of simple at the same time. So this is an entry-level hiring program that is 1 year long, and you have to have graduated from a qualifying educational institution or program within the last 2 years. There is an exception for veterans where it can be up to 6 years of eligibility to apply for one of these positions. Recent graduates have to have graduated with at least a 3.0 GPA. We will typically appoint recent graduates at the GS7 and GS9 levels. The greatest perk about this program is the fact that there's a potential to convert out of the program to a permanent CMS position at the full performance level of a GS12. So it's really kind of a ladder structure. You're able to be promoted throughout this program and when you convert out of the program, as long as there's successful performance. So we do post typically in the fall and spring, and we post on usajobs.gov, and we have those couple of postings coming up very soon, and one that's already opened. So really important to check out usajobs.gov to be able to apply to these positions. And we typically will post them in a staggered approach. So twice a year, but amongst a couple of different months as these semesters for most schools are closing in. So there are training and mentor requirements associated with this program. We're not necessarily going to jump into that quite today, but we do have things like certain amount of training hours that are required, making sure that you have a mentor obtained within a certain period of time, just to make sure that you're getting the most positive experience out of the program. And there's also performance requirements associated with this program as well. We obviously will not convert somebody that is necessarily a poor performer. So there are different levels and structures in terms of performance. So we just want to make sure that all that information is stated up front. All right, so that is a quick overview of the recent graduate program. We're going to go ahead and dive right into our panel discussion. So I would love to welcome our panelists. So Cody Kirk is a current recent graduate. Sarah Mills is a current recent graduate as well, and Jessica Martindale just actually graduated from our recent grad program. So you guys get to get a bit of information from different perspectives here. So I would like to introduce all of our panelist members, and if you guys actually want to talk a little bit about yourselves too, just give us a couple of minutes of an opener. So Cody, I'm going to call on you first.
All right, my name is Cody Kirk. Like I said, I'm a recent graduate right now. I graduated in December of 2019 and then got this position. I started in January of this year. Let's see, I was formerly a medic in the Army, so I have a little bit of a different background. I originally met in healthcare, but now I work as a health insurance specialist in the recent graduate program. I'm excited to be here with y'all.
Thanks, Cody. All right, Jessica, you're up next.
Hi, everybody. I am Jessica Martindale. I work with PCG in DeSeo. I started with the recent graduate program last year as quarantine was jumping off. So, I've been fully virtual ever since, and it's been a great experience. Prior to this, I was not in government work whatsoever. I was a hairdresser. So this has been a great program for me specifically.
All right, thanks, Jessica. And last but not least, Sarah.
Hi, I'm a current recent grad. I started last July and graduated with my master's in public affairs in May 2019. I'm in the Center for Program Integrity in the Division of Enforcement Actions, and I'm on my 9th month in the recent grad program.
Thanks so much, Sarah. All right, now we're going to go ahead and start our panel discussion. So Shaheen and I will be asking these questions. We have a total of 6 questions, and we'll have everyone speak to these questions. So first but not least, we're going to start with, how was your onboarding process? So Cody, I'm going to go ahead and call on you first.
All right. I feel like we probably all three have a different onboarding process considering the whole pandemic and everything we have going on. But for me, it was completely virtual. And it was actually really a smooth process, in my opinion. I think by the time I had started, CMS had definitely figured out how to get the entire, onboarding process going pretty smoothly. We did, like new employee orientation, or what we call NEO, and then have continued that throughout the last couple of months that I've been here. Everyone was extremely helpful, regardless of, if they knew the questions that I had. If they didn't know it, they knew exactly who I needed to go to get that information. And so, for me, it was very smooth and pretty seamless transition from civilian back into the government, back to the government sector. So.
Awesome. All right, next up, we have Jessica.
Sure. So from what I understand, my onboarding process was relatively unique in that NEO happened basically as quarantine was getting ready to happen. So basically I went in for maybe about an hour. We're given a brief overview of the program and the benefits associated with the program. We received our computers and were immediately sent home. So I finished my onboarding process fully remote with my director's help. I've never set foot in my office. Throughout this last year, everyone has been eager to help and answer any questions they may have had. I really commend the CMS and the Recent Graduate Program for their virtually flawless transition to distance onboarding and training. It was pretty easy for me.
I'm so glad you had a good experience. All right, Sarah, you're up.
Yeah, I agree. I started in July, so like mid-quarantine. My orientation was all virtual as well. The extended new employee orientation I found was super helpful. And that came like a couple months after and has just like, it had continual like updates for new employees, like as you progress throughout the program. And I found that to be probably the most helpful part. But initially, yeah, everyone was super helpful. My director was super helpful. And everyone was able to answer questions really quickly and efficiently.
Wonderful. So maybe we can go over the question, what type of work do you do? What kind of work do you perform as a recent grad? So Cody, if you want to start us off with that one.
Yeah, that's actually a question I asked during my interview process because I was wondering, I didn't know exactly how it would go out. But as a recent grad, I do the exact same work as everyone else on my team pretty much. There's not much of a difference in what's expected of me when compared to the rest of my team. I work on state-based exchange and basically implementation of the state-based exchanges for the Affordable Care Act. So I do a lot of state calls and I participate in those. Personally, one of my first tasks they gave me was to create a training for all new employees coming into my department. So I'm still currently working on that. It's something that me and another employee on my team are doing, and then working on anything from creating agreements between us and issuers throughout states. I'm working on those with another teammate. And so it's completely the same work as everyone else on my team does. On top of that, we do, like Natalia was saying, we do have some requirements within our program. So I meet with my mentor and have bi-monthly meetings with my managers. And then whenever I have free time at work, I work on different online trainings and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's pretty similar to what everyone else in my team does.
Wonderful. How about you, Jessica?
Sure. So I was hired with the Center for Program Integrity, and I work with the Provider Compliance Group with the Division of Stakeholder Engagement. I am a part of the events team, which support and manage participation with both sponsored and non-sponsored events that aim to educate against fraud, waste, and abuse, with the objective to protect Medicare trust fund. For the most part, we work within Medicare Part C and D. Our team also develops training videos such as the annual wellness visit and designing training videos and training programs such as the annual fraud, waste, and abuse training and the outpatient therapy guide. So my role is really taking it all in and learning from the ground up. I have a wonderful team who supports me every day, and they keep me really involved and a part of every communication that goes on with each of the projects. So I'm pretty lucky.
Wonderful. And Sarah, how about you? What type of work did you perform as a recent grad?
Yeah, I'm also in the Center for Program Integrity, and I'm in the Division of Enforcement Actions. So what we do is we do mostly Medicare revocations for providers who aren't meeting the requirements of being enrolled in Medicare. And like Cody said, I'm pretty much doing the exact same work as everyone else on my team. I think there's like a little bit more understanding that we're new to government for the most part. So they've been super helpful with providing extra trainings and walking me through stuff and getting on extra calls with me. And even set me up with a separate in-department mentor. But otherwise, it's the same workload. I just go through case by case on different providers and work on determining whether or not they should be revoked from Medicare, and for what reasons.
Awesome, thank you. All right, on to our next question. So Cody, we're gonna start off with you again. How did you or do you engage with your peers while in the recent graduate program?
So there's actually a lot of opportunity to do that throughout the program so far, at least for me. Like I said earlier, there's the Beyond Path or Beyond Neo program, and you're so pretty much in there with a lot of people, new employees. So there's one way, but for the recent grad, we have our own Pathways monthly meetings. And so that's also with the Presidential Management Fellows as well as interns. A lot of times we do little breakaway groups for different things or whatever. And so you have a lot of opportunities there. I've also, for me personally, I was set up with a mentor within my center who is also she's a Pathway program. She was a Presidential Management Fellow, but it's been good to have somebody within, at least in the Pathways group, who understands kind of the different requirements that I need to do, like doing our individual development plan and things like that, who I can kind of bounce ideas off of and whatnot. And then within the center I work in, there's another recent grad who started, I think, a month after me, who internally we have set up our own kind of monthly meetings just to kind of discuss, any difficulties we have with working from home, or just like, the different things that we have going to do, because we're both doing the similar type of job, started around the same time and during the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of opportunities just to talk to the people that are within the same program.
All right, Jessica.
Sure. So I attended as many training classes geared toward recent graduates as I could possibly get my hands on. For me, they were a great way to gain insights and information that wasn't readily available to me. They also provide a nice sounding board for things you may be experiencing as an RJ, because as Cody mentioned, you have breakout rooms and things like that. I participated with the recent graduate mentor program. My mentor, Antonio, was a wonderful resource for me, and I'm very grateful for him, and we still talk to this day. I also attend all the recent graduates monthly meetings and virtual social events. Again, they are a great resource to just kind of talk about things you're experiencing, good, bad, and different. It's just nice to have those people to learn on. And those meetings are really all about what you make them. So I would just say, don't be afraid to speak up and ask questions.
Thanks, Jessica. Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've had a really similar experience. I think we have a recent grad cohort captain, and she's done a really great job of setting up virtual social lunch hours. And it could have been super awkward doing it virtually, but it's been really nice seeing everyone, and it hasn't been super awkward at all. It's just been great, talking about shared experiences and getting to talk to people on a more personal level. So yeah, I feel like when we go back to the office, it's going to be nice to have a network of support from that.
Wonderful. So what has been your experience with teleworking as a recent grad? And do you have any tips for navigating the program virtually with things such as networking or getting acclimated to CMS or collaborating with others? Cody, if you want to start us off again.
Yeah, so I guess starting a new job as a teleworker, it has been a little difficult, just trying to learn how to navigate the whole. There's a lot of different things. You have Salesforce, you have QuickSight, all these different sites that you have to kind of learn and get access to, and it's a lot of work. But I'd say it's been pretty good so far. A couple of things that I think that have really helped me personally. I think one of the biggest things was setting up one-on-one meetings with everyone on my team to learn the job. That was one of the first things I did within the first, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. That really helped me to understand not only what I would be doing, but what everyone on the team's, kind of what their position was on the team. Let's see what else. There was also, I guess another one, sounds kind of silly, but utilizing Skype for Business has probably been one of the best things. Being able to IM everybody on the team and throughout different areas of the center and stuff like that. And then I know that I did think, Jessica, you already said it, asking questions is probably also one of the biggest things. Doesn't matter how small it is, but I mean, I probably send 20 messages a day to people on my team. And I usually almost start it with, I know this is probably a dumb question, but like there's so many questions, and that's probably been one of the most important things, is just asking all the questions, because there's a lot of acronyms, there's a lot of contractors we work with, and it's hard to put it all together. So definitely asking questions is probably one of the most important things.
Wonderful. How about you, Jessica?
So I feel the same as Cody, and my best advice is to not be afraid to utilize your coworkers. You know, being remote takes away the ability to have that organic, casual interaction with your coworkers. And since that's an option, you need to look and make opportunities happen for those interactions. I speak with multiple team members weekly, and I have since the start. And it just offers me some time to talk about questions on project deliverables and clarify conversations had during meetings that I was present for.
Great. And Sarah?
Yeah, I agree. I echo what Cody said about questions. One of the first things I did was take my job description outline and just make notes on it, and like put notes in the margins of all of my questions about my job description and what my role would be. And I actually sent that to my supervisor, and he sent back comments on it, and then we talked about it. So that was super helpful. And I also think just picking trainings that are like relevant to what you need is super important. I think the best one I've taken so far was teaming with your manager. And that one was especially helpful in, you know, navigating working from home and starting remotely. Just good ways to like talk to your manager, ask for help, ask for feedback. So yeah, I agree. Asking questions is probably the most important thing.
Thanks so much, Sarah. All right, our last question here, and feel free to include any type of information too. I'll give everyone an opportunity to sort of recap at the end as well. But how is or was your overall experience in the recent graduate program? Cody?
Yeah, so I mean, it's been a great experience so far. I'm still only 4 months into it, so I still feel fairly new, but it's been a great experience. Everybody has been extremely helpful. Talia and Art is a great resource. And then you also have Deborah. She comes into a lot of our meetings. She's also a great resource for learning trainings and stuff like that for people either that are new to the government or just need different skills that they need to improve on. There's just so many opportunities in the program for you to meet so many people, to do different tasks and different jobs. And so it's been a great experience for me so far.
Thanks, Cody. Jessica?
Yeah, so I feel really blessed to have entered into the government through the recent graduate program. You know, it's just been an integral part of my education and transitioning into a completely new career. You know, on the monthly recent graduate meetings, I learned so many things, like, you know, getting my project management certification to my core certification and all the benefits that served me in understanding what my team does behind the scenes on a day-to-day basis. So it's been a really good experience for me.
Thanks, Jessica. And Sarah?
Yeah, I feel like coming into government and just the conception about, you know, working a government job is that it's like bureaucratic and impersonal, and that hasn't been my experience at all. Everybody's been super welcoming, super helpful. I feel like it's just been a great way to start a career. Like, this is my first real career job. And it's just been a really welcoming environment. Yeah, everyone's been super helpful, and the trainings are great.
Thanks so much, Sarah. Honestly, very happy to hear that all of you had a great experience so far with the program. And Jessica, definitely you the entire time since you just graduated from it as well. So for our last sort of segment, I just want to kick it back to you guys to be able to perhaps offer any types of words of wisdom or some sort of advice. So Cody, we'll start with you first.
Yeah, I guess one of the biggest things I think is to apply to the program. Definitely does not hurt. I think there's so many opportunities for different positions regardless of what you actually end up applying for. I know I had even after I got my job or accepted the job that I have now, I still was getting, calls and emails from other people within CMS looking for health insurance specialists. So I know that there are a lot of positions. So don't feel, I guess, by the amount of people that are applying, don't feel like you're not going to get the job. There's so many opportunities. And yeah, I think that's probably my biggest one.
Thanks, Cody. Jessica?
Yeah, I agree with Cody. I mean, definitely get in there, apply, and once you're in, definitely take advantage of everything this program offers you, because there are quite a lot of pathways that will lead to all good things.
And Sarah?
I'd say once you're in the program, just jump right in, ask questions. If there's work or projects that you see other people in your department doing that you want to join, ask. They'll probably put you on that team. I know that was one of the first things my manager said to me, and that's been true. So it's really exciting to be able to pick your own projects to an extent, and everyone's super willing to work with you. So just ask questions, start right away.
Thanks so much, Sarah. And a big thank you to all of our panelists today. So Cody, Jessica, and Sarah, thank you so much. Also, thank you to Shaheen for hosting this with me today as well. We do just have a couple of closing remarks for all of you. So this webinar is actually the first of our Workshop Wednesdays. So the series is going to be running through December every first and third Wednesdays. So lots of great different topics that will be covered. So you can sign up for additional webinars using the same pre-registration link that you used to register for this webinar. So the topic that's going to be presented in 2 weeks is going to be virtual interviewing tips and learn how to Zoom like a star. So a lot of exciting information there and just some tips and tricks in terms of interviews. As a reminder, all of our registered attendees will be receiving the slides following this event, and each webinar will be recorded and uploaded to the YouTube channel. So the link to the playlist will be also placed in the chat box. So I think Marla's doing that. And thank you, last but not least, thank you for your time today. We definitely hope that you found this information valuable. We hope that you register for our future Workshop Wednesday series and really join us for this journey through December. So thank you all very much. And Marla, I will ask you if there are any other questions that we can answer for any of the folks on the line.
Nope, I think we're good. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone.